podcast. Many of you may not recognize the character you see up on the screen. This is another character I've found to like from the Star Wars Expanded Universe books. I've recently been reading the Jedi Academy trilogy by Kevin J. Anderson, with a character known by the name Gantoris. This character was introduced by Kevin J. Anderson and killed by Kevin J. Anderson in the first two books of the Jedi Academy trilogy, yet he did live in legacy among his peers in the later stories by Kevin J. Anderson and other authors. So he was not a forgotten character. Gantoris originally was born on the planet of Eol EOL space SHAH, Eol Shaw, which was a doomed planet that was going to be destroyed within the next 100 years by its ever-closing moon that was getting closer and closer to it. And it was the only planet in the sector. I'm not going to continue on about E.L. Shaw since this is not what the podcast is about. This is where Gantoris grew up and lived for the majority of his life. He was force sensitive, so that kept him alive during his life. Though he didn't know it most of his life, it kept him alive. It allowed him to sense earthquakes and other things around them that were happening on this deadly planet that was stricken by danger, such as forgetting the simplest things as food, such as hot geysers and earthquakes, rock avalanches happening all the time. His unknown use of the Force allowed him to survive and become the leader of this colony, which made him rather arrogant, and he had a lot of courage to do this, but he cared about his people. One of the many people he was the leader of was Warton. The reason Gantoris had Force abilities was because he was one in the family along the line of an illegitimate descendant of a Jedi. The descendant he was from was Tiniana, who was the illegitimate daughter of a Jedi Knight about 100 years earlier. That is the likely reason he had the ability to use the Force. Tiniana was one of the original colonists of this world. The world was not discovered till 9 ABY after it was forgotten when a sociologist appeared. 2 years later, Luke Skywalker was trying to look into building a new Jedi Academy because at this point the Empire has been defeated and characters such as Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Resurrected Emperor are no longer a threat, and the Imperial warlords are fighting amongst themselves, and there are very few threats to the New Republic at this moment. So it's the perfect time for Luke Skywalker to be looking into a new Jedi Academy. He hears about this Gantoris, and he goes to look into it to see if he is Force sensitive. He appears in a guy named Warton, one of the colonists that Gantoris is a leader of, leads him to Gantoris. Luke Skywalker helps save one of the people and invites Gantoris to his Jedi Academy. But Gantoris doesn't immediately decide because for his whole life he has been having these mysterious dreams of a dark man who would lead him to the wrong side of things and then kill him. He's been having these dreams his whole life. He suspects Luke Skywalker to be this man. So he tests him with 2 tests. 1, Gantoris guides him down a geyser to collect lichen for his people to eat. One of the very many hard tests. Gantoris gets out way early and survives it. Luke barely gets out, but he passes the first test. The second test Gantoris gives him is lava. He has to get across a lake of lava. So Luke kills some sort of slug monster in lava, but the path to get along the lava is no longer there. So Luke has to use the Force to walk on it. He used the Force to walk over a pool of lava to get to the other side and passes the second test. Gantoris now agrees to go to Luke's Jedi Academy, and Luke promises Gantoris to relocate his people to a safer planet. Since they have not picked a planet yet for the Jedi Academy, Luke goes to look for another candidate for his Jedi Academy before he goes back to Coruscant. So he takes Gantoris with him to Bespin because he believes a candidate named Streen may have the Force. I'll talk about Streen in another podcast. But anyways, a candidate named Streen may have the Force. So he goes here. The Streen guy doesn't want to do it. So Luke offers him to show him how he would teach, basically. And he guides Gantoris in a simple lesson. Gantoris basically, feeling around, trying to start to use the Force and be able to manipulate it. Make little bang sounds that scared birds type thing. He helps Gantoris with that, and Streen agrees to go, and Luke takes Gantoris and Streen back to Coruscant. Gantoris and Streen are both out of their normal parameters, and they are very uncomfortable while they are there. They are there for a very short time, though, but during that time, they are often hanging out with Princess Leia, at this time, Minister Leia, not Princess anymore, and Leia has been tasked with the task of finding a new Jedi planet for the new Jedi Academy and planet for the colonists of El Shul. The planet she picks for the colonists of El Shul is Dantooine. Gantoris believes it's a very safe place to relocate them, and he agrees. He likes it. Compared to El Shul, Dantooine looks like paradise for his people. So they are relocated to El Shul, and Gantoris goes to the new Jedi Academy, which is on Yavin 4, the place of the Rebel base in the movies. At Yavin 4, Gantoris begins to quickly learn the Force. He does have a rival. I don't know much about it because his rival wasn't exactly mentioned in the books I've read, so I'm not going to go into that. But he had a rival by the name of Corran Horn. But also, why Gantoris is at Yavin 4 at the Jedi Academy, he goes with Streen, finds some crystals that can be used to make a lightsaber at a random temple that he and Stream found in the jungle. And he begins to construct a lightsaber without the help of Luke Skywalker, because he's being guided by the Dark Lord of the Sith, Exar Kun, unknowingly. So, after constructing his lightsaber in secret and being an excellent student in the Force, Gantoris confronts Luke Skywalker and has a duel with him. Luke Skywalker doesn't want to go offensive, fear of making him aggressive, and Gantoris was very out of his norms during this fight. He got very close to the dark side, way too close for the comfort of Luke Skywalker. That night, Gantoris is confronted by the dark shadow of Exar Kun, who, at this point, he now knows is the dark man from his dreams. Gantoris does not agree to work with Exar Kun. Number one, before he doesn't agree, Exar Kun shows him his people being destroyed on Dantooine by Admiral Natasi Dalla, who is a rogue admiral that had recently been freed from the Ma installation near Kessel. And Taurus is stricken by this, especially after he sees his friend Wharton died, who was just standing there. After his refusal to work the dark side of the Force with Exar Kun, he is incinerated from the inside out and killed by Exar Kun, the Dark Lord of the Sith from 4,000 years earlier, who started one of the great Sith Wars. Gantoris' purplish lightsaber he had created is later used by many other Jedi students in many fights, such as... I have a note. Kieran T and Kype Duran. But Gantoris, to me, was a great character throughout his whole death, though he got awfully close to the dark side. To me, he had the real potential. When I read that he died, it was so sad. I don't know how to say it. I liked him as a character. I was really mad when I saw he died. It is one of those characters in a book, you're like, you hate the author for writing their death. You know, if you know what I'm talking about, you may have read the last book of Hunger Games trilogy, where they kill Katniss' sister. This was like, the death of Gantoris was like that with me. It's like, you killed him? He was an awesome and great character. Why did he have to die? But Gantoris died in the year 11 ABY. He did save one of his Jedi peers once when Luke Skywalker took him down to a warm pool in the temple, and there was a spurt of hot water coming up that would have fried them. He saved Dorsk 81 from death when he protected him from that, because they wouldn't have had time to get out of the pool. So, as you can see, and he did acknowledge Luke Skywalker that Luke was not the dark man in his dreams. But Gantoris was a great character. He was strong, and good story behind him. Well described. I don't know how to put it. But I'm happy he existed in the Star Wars universe. And I can't wait to see what else and his effects he's had. One of the many effects he did have was he was a warning of what could happen to the Jedi students if they turned to the dark side. So, for those of you listening out there, don't turn to the dark side like Gantoris nearly did. This is Minecraft Indiana, signing out. See you next